I'm one of the developers working on Dwerve. It's a tower defense dungeon crawler RPG, and you should wishlist it on Steam now. I'm gonna start manufacturing the area hoodies really soon, so it's gonna be your last chance to get one within about the next week or two, so don't hesitate or wait. If you played the demo, you know Area is Dwerve's cute companion. Welcome back! I got a puppy! Alright, let's draw this puppy. So up here, there's a horizontal symmetry tool. And this tool is great whenever you're doing faces, portraits, or whatever, anything symmetrical. And I just picked a default brown here. We can change it later. But let's start getting a puppy head here. I'm drawing in a 16 by 16 space, which should be sufficient, but we might want to expand it. Alright, so that could be the nose, and the closest we would put the eye is here, but I think that's too close. I don't like to have different objects touching like that. So I would prefer to move it at least a little further back. And then something really cute we could do is put a little mouth on the puppy here. An easy way to differentiate different parts would be to use different colors. So for example, you can clearly see those are the puppy's ears now, right? But if we made it the same color, all of a sudden, it's not as obvious where the ear starts and ends. So whenever you're not using outline, take advantage of using color in order to differentiate different parts. Alright, so we got a cute little puppy here. I like using outline, so I'm going to outline the puppy here. And it looks really tiny, and this is not bad for a puppy. I think it's fun to change the color of the coat around the snout, right? We want to kind of emphasize that the snout sticks out. We could do something like this. I think the contrast here isn't high enough. You really want to make sure that you have high enough contrast between different colors, or else it kind of just looks like shading. And a good way to do that is to always look at the preview and have the preview kind of small. The smaller the preview, the harder it is to see the contrast, as you can see. So don't have your preview, bigger than your actual drawing. Always keep your preview kind of small. So I think I love it when puppies have like brighter eyebrows. It's so cute. But I think I'm going to give this puppy, actually, let me move this one aside. It's too cute, right? I don't want to kill it. I don't want to destroy it. So I'm going to start a new puppy. All right, let's start a new puppy. And I'm going to give it maybe that kind of nose. Oh God, that might make its head huge. Let me see. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a big puppy head. Now that the eye is bigger, we can put a glare in that eye. And how cute is that? This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online community with thousands of classes for you to learn all sorts of things like pixel art, like game development, like Sprite. Yes. Simon has a cool Sprite tutorial series where he takes you through the tools to get you up and running in Sprite real quick. Something I love about Skillshare is it's like YouTube, but only productive videos. So it's a good place to go. Skillshare is less than $10 a month with the annual subscription. And the first 1,000 people to use the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. Okay, I'm gonna start adding in the coat. A little bit like this, maybe. I think we can make this entire section down here lighter. Oops. Make sure you have contiguous on so you don't change the color everywhere. Something cool about contiguous, as you saw, is let's say we wanted the black to be a different color. If you have contiguous turned off, then it'll change all of that color in your composition. Isn't that awesome? The pixel art program I'm using is called Sprite. Please click the link in the description if you're gonna get it, because if you buy it through Humble, I get a tiny kickback. I'm not sponsored by them. I think the head's a little too flat on top, so I'm gonna make it a little bit rounder. And then we can put the ears right here in the corners. Oh God, you need to do a little bit of trial and error here. Like for example, this doesn't look too good. You need to probably make his head a little bit wider. Let's try this. Okay, I think that looks better. It almost looks like a Shiba Inu, doesn't it? And by putting these pixels here, kind of makes the fur look a little bit fluffy. So I think I'm gonna leave that there. Another way you could do that is, let's say we wanted whiskers, or we really wanted some of this fluff to stick out. Put it on the outline and then just go out a tiny bit. Also, we could have another fur color up here, or a highlight. So when we do some shading, I'll start doing some shading right now. Make the head look round, we'll go around. And then we can even add a little bit of texture. Now it starts looking like a cat again. But how you do the shading is really gonna change the form. And right up here, you wouldn't want to shade this part. You would actually wanna make that, I think, lighter. But next to the eyes, or under the eyes, is always a good spot to shade. I'm gonna try moving the snout down one. I think it'll, and then using the light color up top. That looks pretty cool. It really gives it that long snout look. And we're doing it with color, not outline. I'm going to turn off the symmetry tool because when you're working with such a low pixel density, for example, let's say I wanted his mouth to be, I don't know, whatever, this shape. Now I want a bigger nose. I can't make it 2 pixels. I have to make it 3. See that? And I have to make it 3 because that's the center. But if I wanted the nose to be 2 pixels, all of a sudden it's not in the center anymore. But that's okay because I can move this over now and there is no center. So now there's no center pixel anymore. But the cool thing about this is that now I can make a big nose like this and give our puppy here some big cheeks or a big smile. And look how great that looks. What do you guys think? The cheeks are pretty huge. I love to duplicate what I'm doing and then try something different. Yeah, I like the new one better. This one looked a little bit silly. To make the head have more dimension, I do like to add a highlight on the forehead right here. I do that very often when drawing characters. You can see it in all the enemy sprites in Dwarf. Adding a highlight up here is great. Okay, yeah, so here we added a highlight on the fur. And then I also like to highlight the tips of the ears, or the back side of the ears. This makes them look a little bit rounder. Okay, so now let's add a body. I don't want the head to be disconnected from the body. I think it would actually look better if we had it connected to the body. And I might even do a little bit of highlight, a little highlight there below the mouth. So I'm gonna turn the symmetry tool back on, make sure it's in the center. And from here, it'll be really easy to see how far apart we should put the paws. I don't want to put the paws too close to the center. I think somewhere like that would be pretty good. And then I think most dogs have a lighter fur color on their stomach, right? So we're gonna keep that light fur color on the stomach, but I will still shade it near the bottom. Yeah, I think I like that. I'm gonna make the paws lighter, and it's just a fun, it makes the coat more interesting. Let me try making bigger paws. It's kind of cute, right? It does look like I need to put this line up higher. The inner outlines don't need to be as dark. So we can make these inner outlines just a dark brown. They don't need to be black. Let's leave it like that. Maybe even make them a little bit shorter, or fade. I'll make them fade in. Yeah, there we go. Maybe something like this. And then let's give it a tail. I think I'm gonna give it a big fluffy tail. We don't want it to look like a fox, but somewhat fluffy. And then I'll make the tip of it even lighter. There we go, that's a cute puppy. I like to crop select a piece of my art and then use the arrow keys to move it around to different locations to see where I like it best. So I think the tail, I don't like to have two outlines right next to each other like here. So I think there should either be a gap in between the head and the tail, or it should share an outline. In this case though, I really want to emphasize that tail. So I think I'm going to go with a gap. So the dark brown that we used here for the inside of the paws, I'm going to put that on this paw because it's also on the inside, and I'm going to put it on this head. In more. Yeah, there we go. And now the head sticks out a little bit more. So now the head sticks out more on this side, which it would if we saw this side of the dog's body. So the perspective now makes a little bit more sense. I kind of like the tail curling. I'm just gonna draw a rectangle under the puppy and maybe round it a little bit. And then here we can double click the layer and mess with the opacity. And we got a pretty cool shadow.
Let's play! Let's play!
I'm kind of just sketching right now, sort of deciding where the legs will be for this little puppy. Kind of want him to be a little bit fluffy, and I'll also give him a fluffy tail, and it'll have a nice curl to it. So the hind legs of a dog look kind of like this. This is the basic shape, right? They have a bend here, and then this is the foot right here, right? This is the part that you might color a different color, and then it has a bend here. With this few pixels, I was able to achieve that by doing this shape right here, which is pretty incredible. Just this shape right here recreated that tiny little dog leg. As you can see, this is the leg. Imagination goes a long way. If people know what you're drawing, then they can imagine exactly what this hind leg looks like because they know what a dog's hind leg looks like, which is why it's awesome to draw things that people are familiar with or represent something that people are familiar with. I'm just gonna talk over this sped up part so the video doesn't get way too long. But basically for this little guy over here, I didn't want the ears and the tail to be touching. I hate when the outlines touch like that. So I was moving the tail around, trying to find a good spot for it, but I was like, you know what? I can't find a good spot for it. The spot it's at is great. Instead, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna maybe move the face a little bit and change the shape of the tail. And then the outlines will barely touch. And then what I like to do is I like to make the outlines near the top of objects be a lighter color of the object on the inside. Hold on, I'll call you right back. I'm making a YouTube video. You guys like my ringtone? I'm keeping that in. As I was saying, so I removed the chin on the dog too, so it looks like it's connected to the body. I use a black to separate objects, but I think we're pretty much done, and I think they came out super cute. What do you guys think? I want to see what your puppies look like. Tag me on Twitter, and if I like your art, I'll retweet it. I'm adding these puppies to my free-to-use in-your games Pixel Pete's art assets. Follow me on Itch, and you'll get notified when I update the sprite pack. I'll see you guys next week. Dev Life!
What are you doing? Help me!